Now, meanwhile, of course, we've been talking today about a whole range of issues, including the economy, including the impact on jobs and the impact on lives. So we thought you might like to perhaps take a slightly different look at maybe our way out of this. There's a company called Ebac. It's been in existence for 50 years. They've been making great products, dehumidifiers, air conditioning systems, all sorts of things. If you've got a water cooler in your office, it was probably made by this lot. So one of our great manufacturers maybe can help us out of the economic difficulties that we're going to face. John Elliott MBE, founder of Ebac, joins me now. John, good morning to you.
Good morning, James.
Thank you very much indeed for taking the time.
Yes, we definitely need. It's very simple, the problem. We've got to make more things in the UK. We've got to balance our books. We've got to stop this idea of a deficit's okay and just go for growth in GDP. And it's not about innovation or entrepreneurship. It's about industrial scale manufacturing, producing the things that you and I consume instead of importing them and losing our cash.
Right. So for many years, we took the view that we can or we should get the world to manufacture our stuff more cheaply, that we use our brains, we invent stuff, and then we go and get it manufactured elsewhere. So what you're saying is if we brought the manufacture back here to the UK, as well as inventing it, we're going to be in a lot better place.
Absolutely. And actually, that was my view 20 years ago as well, by the way. But I think it was wrong. And the best thing to do, except when you're wrong, is change. And we've got to make more things in the UK. We've got the people who can do it. It adds value. It adds more value than financial services, valuable as they are. So we've just got to make more things. We've got to balance the books. We've got to get rid of this idea that growth is more important than the deficit. To me, growth in a business is like turnover, and the deficit is a loss. Right. So there's no point in increasing turnover if you're going to get a bigger loss.
How do we persuade people here in the UK when they can see the badges, they can see the fact that if they wanted to, they could buy local produce which is grown here in the UK and farms, and then they could buy products and goods which are manufactured here, but they choose not to. So how can you persuade the great British public?
We don't get the options. We don't make very much stuff here now. We don't make almost any clothing at all. We make some of the specialist stuff, but we've got to make the stuff that the population at large needs. We've got to. We used to make them in the northeast here, in County Durham. We used to have many factories making clothing. We should go back to that.
Okay, then how do we persuade companies to invest in that way? Because of course, once you've lost those skills,
government intervention. We don't need government subsidy. We need intervention to encourage them. I think one of the problems in the UK is it's easier to make money on the stock market than invest in real businesses. There's been quite a few businesses sold in the northeast in the last few years. Every one of them is bought by a foreign company. Why is that? There's something wrong fundamentally, and that's where government have got to intervene, make it more attractive to invest in real business.
Okay, so
we've got every car in the UK is foreign owned. Why is that? Okay, we need internal investment, not external investment.
Right. Okay. So I understand that, but then how do we persuade? Have we forgotten how to do this? So your generation certainly knows and understands manufacture. Sadly, I'm a Thatcher generation child, and if you threw me into a factory, I wouldn't know one side of a factory from another, other than the fact that I looked at them, as real estate prospects to knock down and redevelop. So what do we do?
You'll soon learn. People learn. There's plenty of people want to work in factories, believe it or not. That might be for you, that is not the right job. But for some people, that's their preference. And we're good at it. The Nissan plant here in Sunderland is one of the best in the world. Unfortunately, it's foreign owned. So the profits go back to Japan.
Right. Okay. So we've got to try and find some more British, I suppose, as you say, intervention or I don't know, manufacturing backed, and I certainly understand the view that we need to make more here in the UK, and we could probably do so with that intervention. Just finally to you, though, as we look at this rather grim statistic of 100,000 people having lost their lives as a result of COVID, has Boris Johnson done whether it's a good job of leading the country, and what does he need to do now in order to lead us through the rest of this pandemic?
The facts have told us he's done a bad job. We've got one of the worst death rates in the world, rather. So that tells us we've done a poor job. So that's the first starting point. But that's history. He shouldn't be playing that game. What he should have said last night, in my opinion, was, I got things wrong, I'll do it different now, but let's focus on getting it right now. The ordinary person will accept that. But unfortunately, politics play this game of complicated chess, of gotcha, instead of focusing on running the country.
And I think that's a very interesting standpoint. Listen, if people want to find out more about what you do and your company, and maybe they want to buy British and they want to come and see one of your, the products, where do they find out more about Ebac and what you make?
Ebac.com. You'll find our washing machines, our dehumidifiers, and our water coolers.
There we go. We see we're going to fill our nation with all your stuff that you manufacture, and then see if maybe we can get some more doing the same. John Elliott MBE, thank you so much for joining us this morning here on Talk Radio. Look forward to speaking again, I'm sure.